Hi, my name is Sue McNamara, and I am the Director of Financial Aid at Geisinger College of Health Sciences. Thank you for joining me today to learn more about the financial aid process. In the next few moments, we will walk through several slides that will assist you in finding resources during your time here at Geisinger College of Medicine. Here at Geisinger College of Medicine, we have a dedicated financial aid staff comprised of myself, Roxanne Seymour, our Associate Director of Financial Aid, and Stacy Zelenka, our Assistant Director of Financial Aid. Over the course of the next several weeks, you will receive emails, updates, and other information from one or all of us to help guide you through the process. The first step in the financial aid process is the completion of the FAFSA, or Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Please use the link provided to complete your 2026-2027 FAFSA application. To easily find our institution, you can search by our federal code, G41672, or by name, Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine. Once you've navigated to the financial aid website, you will use 2024 tax information in order to submit your FAFSA. The deadline to file your FAFSA is March 1st. That's an institutional deadline so that we can review and consider you for institutional resources. Potential students are encouraged to file their FAFSA prior to this date, but also if you are still in the acceptance process, we encourage you to file your FAFSA by March 1st and list all of the schools that you're currently reviewing. This way you don't miss the deadline. No parent information is needed when you file your FAFSA. So this slide is illustrating some of the tuition costs for the 26-27 application period. You'll see that Geisinger School of Medicine does have in-state and out-of-state tuition. In-state tuition currently sits a little under $65,000, with out-of-state tuition a little under $72,000 for the year. There's about $2,800 in estimated annual fees, and we do offer funding for students that need it, estimated for living expenses at about $32,000 a year. Now we know that students attending medical school typically are not able to work, and so many students need living expense resources in order to be able to assist with things like food and utilities. A complete list of our cost of attendance is listed on this link that you'll find here on this slide, and that will show you all of the allowable expenses that you could borrow on federal or private money in order to subsidize your education. So included in that would be your tuition, your fees that are outlined here, living expenses up to that $32,000, which can include food, utilities, housing, miscellaneous, transportation needs. And then just another note, you'll see that we do have in-state versus out-of-state tuition for our students here at Geisinger. And that really is something that is embedded within the finance office here at the school. We do send out to our students, we vet it through the financial aid office, a form for those who have indicated either on their AMCAS application and or on their FAFSA that they are a Pennsylvania resident. We'll send out a form that you fill out just asking a few questions about that. Just one other note, the rule of thumb for in-state tuition here at Geisinger is that you would have had to have been out of school for at least a year or longer without seeking higher education in order to be considered in-state. So what that means is that once in-state or once considered to be out of state, you will remain in those categories for the entire time that you're enrolled here at the medical school. So How do you get notified about your financial aid award package or your award notification? So Empower Web is our school portal, which is where you will go to review your award package. You'll be able to accept, decline, or make changes to your financial aid award package here. Just one note, most students in an MD program are only eligible through the FAFSA for federal resources. So new for the 26-27 academic year is students are able to borrow on what's called an unsubsidized federal student loan under the William D. Ford program, and that amount is up to $50,000 per year. What's different for this academic year is the elimination of a Graduate Plus loan, which also was a federally backed loan for anyone in the incoming class of 2030, and for any loan dispersed after July 1st of 2026. Students are eligible to borrow up to $50,000 per year in a federal loan. So most of you will see that listed on your financial aid award package. What you will not see, and we'll talk a little bit more about this on another slide, is any additional resources that you may have requested under a private entity. So what you can do in advance is review the private loan options that are available to you. There's a link on another slide to ELM, E-L-M, which is a search engine for you to be able to look at private lending. Again, $50,000 is the maximum that you'll be able to borrow in federal money if you choose to do that. So many students will need to supplement their tuition fees and or additional living expenses with a private loan. Once you've reviewed your financial aid award package, you do have the ability to submit that. We do ask that once you receive your award package, that within 2 to 3 weeks of receiving your award notification, that you review that, reach out to us if you have any questions, and then submit that. There is a button that allows you to submit your information after you have reviewed that. That will allow the financial aid office to have access to your updates in the school portal so that we can then move forward with assisting you with the next steps in the process. Again, if you're borrowing on a federal loan, there are going to be some additional requirements that will need to be done electronically, and this will prompt us to walk you through that process. Again, I want to emphasize that this is the first year that there is a maximum of $50,000 per year that students can borrow on an unsubsidized loan. There may be a gap in what you're receiving in federal money and what you may need for tuition fees and living expenses. So please go out to ELM and take a look at that. On this next slide, we do have that link, and I'll go over that in a moment so that you can get a comparison and get a loan in place if you need one to supplement. So how do you pay for medical school? Again, lots of different ways and resources in order to be able to fund your education. So what we've done here is just broke down into different categories the different resources that are available to you. So I'm going to start with scholarships. That's free money, money that comes in many different shapes and sizes, but typically we think of it in two different ways. There's what's called institutional scholarships. So that's a donor or an entity that gives directly to a college or an institution or a university. We have a plethora of institutional scholarships that are available. You can look at our website to take a look at what ones are currently available. These types of scholarships are not anything that you need to apply for. We know enough about the donor's intent. We know enough about our MD students through their AMCAS application that we can marry that information together without having the student apply. So there's no application process for our institutional scholarships. If you were to receive an institutional scholarship, you would be notified via email. You would also be asked to complete a scholarship form indicating what the criteria was for that scholarship, how it was selected, how you were awarded, what the dollar amount is, anything that you need to do, as far as requirements moving forward, whether it's a renewable scholarship or if it's a one-time scholarship. All of that information will be included in that email that you receive. That scholarship will also then be part of your financial aid notification or award. You will not have to accept that. It will already be accepted for you. In addition to institutional scholarships, many students do their own research and look for private opportunities. So maybe you've gone out and saw that, for example, Tylenol has a scholarship and you've applied for that scholarship on their website. That money can come in two different ways if you were to receive that. It can come directly to the school, which is the preferred way, and then that money gets allocated directly to your account. Sometimes private scholarships send the money, the donor sends it right to the student, and then you can send that to the school for credit on your account. So that's scholarships, free money that you do not have to pay back. Again, we talked a little bit about the federal direct loan program, but new for the academic year 2026-27. So for all of you in the MD class of 2030, the federal direct loan program went through some changes as a result of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, whereby the government eliminated the Graduate Plus loan. The Graduate Plus loan was a federally backed loan that allowed you the opportunity to borrow for the difference between your other resources and the cost of attendance. So allowed, for you to be able to borrow for any additional tuition or fees or living expenses. Again, that program has been eliminated for everyone across the country. And so what has been replaced is they've increased the unsubsidized loan to $50,000 a year. So half of that would be for your fall semester, the other half for your spring semester. And then private loans would be the alternative choice. So here we have a link to Elm Select. This will give you options and comparisons of all of the different private loan opportunities that are available to you. I highly recommend that you start this process sooner rather than later, because many times private loans require some additional information, including potentially information about a cosigner or a co-borrower. Also looks a little bit differently at your financial information, maybe looking at your FICO score in order to determine an interest rate. So a little bit more detailed as far as how long it may take and what they're looking at in order for you to get a private loan. So start that process early. Again, go out to Elm Select. That information is listed here as a link. It's also on our website. Please be sure to go that way to make sure that you are going to legitimate websites and sites that are backed and have been in business for some time that we support. So again, the One Big Beautiful Bill eliminated the Grad Plus loan. So opportunities for borrowing under the direct loan program is an unsubsidized loan. Unsubsidized means that the interest does accrue on your loan. Interest rates are determined every July 1st. So at the time of this recording, I do not know what the interest rate will be for the fall of 2026. However, we will post that information once it becomes available. Those interest rates are locked or fixed for the life of the loan. So ultimately, 4 years of medical school could mean 4 different interest rates if you borrow each year of medical school. And then to complement that, if needed, you can utilize either a scholarship under bullet number 1, institutional or private, that I spoke about, or couple that with potentially maybe a private loan if you need that. And then the third way to pay for medical school is a service commitment program. So things like military, Army, Navy, Air Force have on the front end scholarship opportunities. And then on the back end, they have loan repayment opportunities as well. These are service commitment programs. So what that means is that at the end of the day, you have to be willing to agree to whatever the criteria is for that commitment program. Typically what that means is years of service equals years of funding for your tuition, as well as most times a stipend to go along with that. Here at Geisinger, we mirrored our service commitment program called the Abigail Geisinger Scholars Program after the military service commitment programs. And so what we offer is the ability for a student, if they're interested in particular specialty choices, the opportunity to be able to come to school, commit to up to the 4 years of medical school. And for those years of service would equal the amount of commitment on the back end that a student would return to the Geisinger footprint after residency. So you would match at whatever place you chose, and you would go for your residency at the place that you matched and chose. And then after residency, you would return to Geisinger in order to fulfill your commitment. So if your commitment was for 4 years, you received 4 years of tuition, you would return to Geisinger for 4 years working within the Geisinger footprint within one of the specialty choices in order to fulfill that service commitment. In addition, students in the Abigail Geisinger Scholars Program receive a $2,000 a month stipend. Details and more information about the Abigail Geisinger Scholars Program should be directed to our admissions department for that application process. So beyond financial aid assistance and resources, our office really does want to look at a comprehensive approach to financial wellness for our students while they're attending here. So we offer counseling and support in many different ways, shapes, and sizes to assist our students, both interactively, so interwoven within your time here at Geisinger. You will participate in financial aid sessions. You will also be mandated to meet with financial aid as an incoming first-year student if you took out any type of a loan. This allows us the opportunity to explain in a little bit more detail your rights and responsibilities, understand your borrowing potential, give you a little information about debt management, and help you to try and budget for your 4 years here. As a student at Geisinger College of Health Sciences, in particularly in our medical program, our students could be assigned to many different regional campuses. And so we do go out to those campuses. So financial aid will come to your campus and meet with you both individually, and we hold sessions for our students in our other campuses, and private sessions as well. So we will be on your regional campus to assist you throughout your time enrolled in medical school. We have a very comprehensive financial literacy program that's interwoven into the curriculum here. And so we have that platform on Canvas, which is your academic learning system that you will use so that you can at any point in time, 24 hours a day, access information. There's webinars, there's some fact sheets, there's links to presenters both nationally and those that are doing presentations for us here as part of the financial aid wellness program. So lots of information, lots of ways for you to be able to stay engaged and experience financial wellness here at Geisinger. And then I just want to leave with our contact information. Financial aid at geisinger.edu is the best way to get in touch with the financial aid office. Please do not hesitate to call us, contact us, email us as many times as you need. We're here to serve you and help make the process as easy as possible, as smooth as possible for you. So again, thank you for your time and thank you for listening, and please reach out if we can help in any way. Thank you.